Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day or night or year it is, wherever you are. This is just going to be a quick video on Pathfinder 2E on leveling up through the Foundry virtual tabletop. So one of the players in the game we were on asked me this morning, how is there a wizard or anything in Foundry to level up? So let's do it. The easiest way is to have a look at it, and that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so this is a Pathfinder remade game that I actually bought for an adventure we're playing. So here are the level 1 characters. These are just characters that were prepared gens that I downloaded. So let's have a look at the fighter first. And best thing to do is let's just make a copy of it first before we can mess around on this one. And if we open up our fighter, we see it's level 1. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is in the name, I'm actually going to get rid of the level 1 bit because that's confusing because we're not going to be level 1 after this. So just going to change the name. So the first thing, you might be playing an XP or a milestone one. You're going to have to reset this manually. We're playing sort of more of a milestone campaign. So I want to change its level to level 2. So the first thing we need to do is simply change on the shield here, level 1 to level 2. And once we accept that, we will see that straight away stuff like our armor class has gone up, our hits points and all that has gone up. So it's automatically applied whatever extra hit points you get just by changing the number. I'm going to go back to level 1 and you'll see they will decrease once I hit enter. So they decrease back to what they were. So the first thing you need to do is simply change the number in the shield. Now that doesn't auto-populate everything else. So what you then need to do is need to go through your sheet quickly and see is there anything that's now a blank. So there's no extra stuff here in the actions. See, this is all as we had before. This is inventory, spell casting, his fighter, so that doesn't apply. Crafting doesn't apply. Proficiencies have gone up. Let me just show you that. If I go back to level 1 whilst on this tab, you can see that these change. So athletics and that has changed. So go back to level 2 and you can see athletics and that has increased. And here's where we're going to get our special stuff. So we'll now see that there says empty slot, empty slot. I'm going to open up the original Valros and let's have a look side by side at the level 1 one. So under here, under Feats, you can see these empty slots only appeared when we leveled up. So this is saying, hey, you have a slot for this, you have a slot for this, but you don't have anything in it. So how do you fill that in? Well, it's quite simple. If you go over to the magnifying glass here on the side, this will bring up this little compendium browser. So your compendium should be shared with your players. And then once they hit this, it will bring up a list of their options. And you can see it's on the class feat boxes checked. It's, if you scroll down here, it's saying anything between levels 0 and 2. And it's also going to fight for filter and dedication. So it's applying these filters and it's going to list them in ascending order. So here are all the things that the player can choose from. Clicking on them will bring up a little box so they can read what they are. So let's assume they decide they want to go for to be an archaeologist fighter. So all you have to do then is they click, drag it across onto the empty slot, and there it's now applied. So again, you can close that down, and then we have an empty slot here, and you can back to magnifying glass. You could have also, we were in the other one before with the feats, class feats, and that's where we selected this one from. We could have just decided to add the skill feat, because this is what we're looking. It's a little, maybe you find that easier. It's probably easier just to get your players to use the magnifying glass and the correct one. Again, it's going to show us level 2, all the sources, all the skills. So it's going to pre-populate. It knows you're level 2, so it's going to show them. So let's say good word, bon mot. So again, they want that one as their next skill feat, and it's now applied. Close that down. If you are doing on miles on XP, you should probably change that back to 0. Let's have a look. Is there anything else missing? Anything else unpopulated? No, there's not. So that's all there is to it. Let's have a look at one of the other characters that has some form of spell casting. So this is a witch. We're going to duplicate the witch. We're going to open her up. First thing we do is we change it to level 2. That will add all the modifiers. We should change our XP back to 0 because she's no XP now. She's just leveled up, or he or they. Spell casting. Well, there's no free slots here, so they don't get any extras. But if there was extra spell casting slots, let's say we move them up to a level 5 Witch. You'll now see there's stuff here. The second rank, third rank stuff is empty. So that would allow the player to know that, you know, hey, you can put some spells in there. But they don't get anything extra at 2. But they do get, let's have a look at the feats also. And you can see that there's an empty slot here on class feat and an empty slot here on skills feat. So again, they'll put us this magnifying glass and it will automatically search for the traits for a witch. You can see it's witch. Class feat is selected, it's the class feat. And again, they can look through all these lists of their feats, and the one that they decide, they just then simply have to drag across. So they say take basic lessons. Oh, this needs a requirement here, so lessons of life. And it'll prompt you for that. Again, here's this one here, so let's hit the magnifying glass, and they decide to take, they don't have to take a 2, they could take one that's a lesser one. Communal crafting. And that goes in there. And that gives them some crafting stuff they can now populate. Okay, so that's it. It's as simple as that. And hopefully this may have helped you out if you're wondering how to level up on Foundry Virtual Tabletop Pathfinder 2e. Thanks and goodbye.